welcome back to another episode of Paranormal
Addiction Radio.
I'm the voice of the... No.
You're the what?
Eh?
You're the what? Sorry?
I'm going to say... Yeah, shut up. Right, let's do it again.
No, I'm going to put that in.
No, you're not. I'm the voice of the North.
And I'm
Rainbow
Owl.
Tonight we've got Tommy Hamilton, Cheryl Lynn Carter and David Childers.
I'm excited to have these guys on the show. Really excited. But what about last week's show?
With Lance, but yeah, we really appreciated Lance coming on. I know Lance...
You've forgotten your lines, haven't you?
No, I haven't actually.
You've forgotten you're not reading the script. We've written out a script.
No, we haven't got a script at all,
you've forgotten your lines.
I am. No, Lance did fantastic last week, and actually I learnt something from Lance that I didn't actually know, and it was about the water panther, so that was brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never heard of the water panther.
No, I'd never heard of the water panther, so that was quite cool actually. I mean...
The Thunderbird.
I've heard of the Thunderbird.
I thought he was talking about Thunderbirds I'll Go.
No, you made me laugh when you said that, no. I've heard of the Thunderbirds before, I just didn't know that the Thunderbirds and the Water Panthers were linked that way. So yeah, so that was something for me, even me, to learn. So yeah, thank you, Lance. That was much appreciated.
But anyway, the subject for today is haunted cemeteries.
Yeah, you're doing that. But you see, I'm not... To be honest... My field, I used to do ghost hauntings, but to be honest, guys, I got bored of it and I went over to the cryptid side of things, which I find more interesting.
Right, so does that mean you're not going to be joining us? So I've got to do all the work again?
Yeah, well, you're moaning that I take over, so I'm letting you do all the work this time.
Okay, well, we'll see you at the end then.
You will. I will sit back and listen to your interviews with Tommy and Cheryl and David.
Yes, you will indeed. And we shall catch up at the end, I suppose.
Yep, I'm sure we will.
Bloody part-timer.
I'm not a part-timer at all. It's just this is more your forte, you see. Yeah. My forte is...
All on my own again. Got to do it all on my own.
No, you haven't got to do it all on you. You're quite happy doing it on your own. You keep moaning, I'm taking over all the time. So.
Anyway, let's bicker about this after the show. Let's bring on...
Cheryl Lynn Carter.
Well, hang on a minute.
What?
You just said you weren't going to get involved.
I'm doing intro.
Okay, well, let's bring on Cheryl Lynn Carter. Hello, Cheryl.
Hi, guys. Glad to be here.
Now, Cheryl, as a paranormal investigator, you have been to several cemeteries. But one of your favourites, I believe, is Bachelor's Grove.
Yes, I guess you could say Bachelor's Grove is one of my favorite locations because for some reason, once you go there, she keeps calling you back. She keeps luring you back like... You belong to her now.
Now, Cheryl, for those who don't know, please just explain to us where Bachelor's Grove is.
Well, Bachelor's Grove is actually near the Rubio Forest Preserve in Malathion, Illinois, just not too far outside of Chicago.
The land surrounding Bachelor's Grove Cemetery was originally settled by English homesteaders who relocated to the area from New England, including Stephen Rexford, arguably the most well-known of the first wave of Anglo settlers, around 1833. Now, the cemetery was originally named Everden Cemetery after the original holder of the property, titled Coraffin Everden, who purchased the land at the first Illinois public land sales in 1835. Now, the site saw its first burials around 1836 and contains 82 lots and 200 graves, some of which were never sold or used. Burials, however, possibly go back as far as 1834, when German immigrant workers killed while working on the Illinois and Michigan Canal were reportedly laid to rest at this site. Now, there's a little bit of information from the Wikipedia just to give us a little bit of an idea of the history of the place. But Cheryl, also the graves, the cemetery is very badly vandalized, isn't it? And it's thought because of the vandalism that perhaps this is why there is so much paranormal activity there, hence it's haunted.
Well, that is true, and also another reason is it is rumored that Al Capone used to hide dead bodies and guns in the lagoon.
Yeah, that's right. It was actually a dumping ground for the victims of Chicago's organised crime families of the 1920s and 30s. Now, Cheryl, whilst you've been investigating there, have you ever had any experiences?
Well, the first time I went there, I didn't know about all the stories about the Grove. So my sister and I went there, and we're just walking around looking at what was left of the graves to see if we could see anybody's names. And we started to turn and walk away, and we heard a man say, "Hey, get back here." And we looked because we thought we were all alone, and we didn't see anybody, but I saw a lantern shining in the woods, which is one of the stories out there. So I decided I'm going to leave the cemetery and I'm going to go down the little path to see if I could see where this guy was. So as I'm heading down this path, which I didn't know where it was going, over on my left, I saw a white farmhouse. And I thought, well, that's kind of strange because I'm in the middle of a forest preserve now. There's no farmhouses down here. The farmhouses are all gone. But I saw a farmhouse with a front porch. There was a swing. There was a light on in the window. And I thought, well, this is crazy. This guy's carrying a lantern and there's a light on in the middle of the afternoon. So I turned around to tell my sister to come look at it, and she said, "What?" And then I looked back and I said, "Never mind, it was gone."
Well, that is actually one of the reports there, Cheryl. The Phantom Farmhouse, a ghostly farmhouse, which is reported to be like floating and then it just vanishes. Now, there's been a lot of reported manifestations there. Now, when you're actually visiting the place, Cheryl, what's the atmosphere like? I mean, do you feel unwelcome? Does it feel scary and perhaps, you shouldn't be there?
Actually, you'll think this is weird, but as you start walking down the path to the cemetery, at least this is how I feel. I can feel them watching me. They see that I'm coming, and no, I feel very at home there. I feel everything's really good. Maybe it's because of the way I talk to them. People go in there looking for something bad, then maybe you're going to get something bad. And the crazy thing about the man with the lantern and the Phantom Farmhouse, once I walked down that path to see what was up ahead, there's a small creek there. There's no way somebody could be standing in the creek or there could be a house there.
Cheryl, it sounds like quite a nice place from what you've described from a feeling point of view. But have you had any problems with anything perhaps follow you home, like an attachment?
I've investigated Bachelor's Grove probably a dozen times, and like I said, nothing's ever followed me home because everything's very nice there. And if you know about the history and you know the right kind of questions to ask, they love to talk about the place. They love their cemetery, because back then there was a custom of people going to the cemetery on Saturday afternoon and having a picnic because they were celebrating their loved ones' lives. They'd have picnics in the cemetery. And also on Saturday night they would put down boards and make a dance floor, and they would have a dance in the cemetery.
What about evidence then, Cheryl? Have you actually caught anything, say on an EVP or perhaps a photograph?
Yes, I've got lots of EVPs there, because every time I go back there, I go right over to the fence to talk to that man. He's always there. And I remember one time I says, "Could you come out so we could see you?" And I got a really loud no.
Yes, and you've kindly brought that EVP with you to share with us, so I'm going to play it now.
Where are you? Can you come out so I could see you?
You can just hear it right at the end there, can't you? No. So I'm going to play it again, just in case you missed it.
Where are you? Can you come out so I could see you?
Whoa, that was creepy. You could certainly hear that no right at the end.
Another time I says, "Well, it's Saturday. Is there going to be a dance tonight?" And I heard a woman say, "They'll be dancing." The last time when I went to the cemetery, it looked like it had just been recently vandalized again. So I was walking around with my recorder, and I said, "I'm really sorry that this happened to your cemetery again." And I have a woman's voice saying, "Yes, it's a shame."
Now, Cheryl, I would say, from what you're telling me with all these EVPs, that it's an intelligent haunting rather than a residual haunting.
Well, I suppose there could be residual there, but everything that I have encountered, it's intelligent because they respond to my questions and they give the correct answers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the EVP that I'm going to play now that you've kindly shared with us, you're asking out, "What is my name?" and you get a clear response, and I'm going to play that now.
What's my name?
Wow, that's amazing. You can hear directly at the end of it, Cheryl.
What's my name?
Now, what about photographs? What photographs have you taken?
But of course I have photographs. Like the one I sent you the other day of the lantern in the woods, and I've just got all kinds I can send you. Too bad I didn't get the house.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you did. You did send me one, and I'm going to put that up on the screen now. So if you're listening to the show and you're on YouTube, I would suggest you look at your screen now, because you'll be able to see the photograph of the lantern that Cheryl was talking about. You can see it actually glowing in the background there. Now, one of the famous hauntings there is the White Lady, the White Madonna, or the Woman on the Stone. This spirit can be found by the Fulton family headstone. She appears as a semi-transparent apparition and openly sobs. Some witnesses said she asks them if they have seen her infant daughter. She has also been known to walk around holding an infant during the full moon. Now, Cheryl, have you seen this White Lady?
I never did encounter the lady in white. I have looked all over the place for her, but I've encountered lots of other spirits there.
Now, a famous photograph was taken of the White Lady sitting on the tombstone. I'm going to put that up on the screen now. And this photo ran in the Chicago Sun-Times, and it's also featured in paranormal books and paranormal websites across the world. So there it is. That's the famous photograph there up on the screen now. Now, Cheryl, when you really look at this photo, I mean, the lady sat there on the tombstone. She's quite solid in appearance. In other words, you've really got to look to see that it is transparent. Now, do you think by any chance maybe that this photo could be a hoax, perhaps?
Well, this photo was actually taken with film, so it wasn't on a CD card like we're using now, and that film has been examined up and down and forwards and back, and everybody says it's real.
I mean, from a paranormal evidence point of view, I mean, this photo is second to none, isn't it? It's out there with one of the best.
The only thing is, after all this time, we're still not sure who the mysterious lady is.
The actual tombstone that she sat on. Now, is there any writing on it, any scribing or anything carved in the stone?
Actually, what she's sitting on is just a base, and that's all that's probably left in the cemetery, are lots of bases, so there's no name as to who it was.
And as we said earlier, Cheryl, that Al Capone and gangsters around the 20s and the 30s used a pond there at Bachelor's Grove to dispose of their victims' bodies, although apparently no human remains have actually been found in there.
I think they found like 6 or 7 guns in there, so there were lots of guns thrown in there for some reason.
And then there's the story of the farmer and the plough horse, located at the same pond. Their apparition has been seen there as well.
So that comes to the question about if the farmer and the horse actually went into the pond, where are their remains?
Yeah, absolutely. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? Now, Cheryl, you've actually had another experience at Bachelor's Grove. Not a haunting as such, but something completely different.
Well, I was with somebody one time when we were filming a documentary about Bachelor's Grove, and we walked down a pathway, and all of a sudden we heard tree knocking, and I do believe that we've experienced the presence of a Bigfoot.
Really? Well, I never knew Bigfoot had been spotted at Bachelor's Grove. That's very interesting.
Yes, I didn't know about that until I came back home and I was talking to somebody, and they said, oh yeah, that's a real hot spot for Bigfoot. And we actually, as we went down the path, we saw one of those lean-tos against the tree that supposedly they make out of sticks that they live in.
Now, this is probably a silly thing to ask, but do you think by any chance Bigfoot could be responsible for the vandalism at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery?
No, I think it was just vandals, people that think it's funny to do things like that.
Now, Cheryl, you're not just a paranormal investigator and a researcher. You're also an international author of multiple paranormal and thriller books, including Whispers Beyond the Grave. your Darkness trilogy, and also Dimensions, Mysterious Triangles of the US.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that if you want to know more about Bachelor's Grove, I have a chapter about that in my Whispers Beyond the Grave book. And the new book that I've got coming out now is the one you just talked about, Dimensions, the Mysterious Triangles of the U.S. So hopefully that will be coming out in the next week.
And Cheryl, not only are you into spirits, ghosts and hauntings, but you're also into UFOs and aliens. I mean, you're a member of MUFON and the CE5 Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Well, MUFON is called the Mutual Ufo Network, and it's nationwide. And anybody can actually join. All you have to do is pay your membership dues every year, come to the meetings, listen to people's stories, look at the pictures they take. It's very interesting to see what's going on out there. The CE5 group is where we actually do meditations and try to communicate with ETs.
Well, sounds like interesting stuff, which has obviously broadened your horizons with the world of the paranormal by the sounds of it. Now, you've actually also been a consultant, haven't you, for Thomas Conwell's book, They Are Here, Central US UFOs.
Well, I wasn't actually consulting about UFOs. What I was consulting about was part of his book was about the 7 fires prophecies, which are native prophecies. And one of the last prophecies is teaching us that if we don't straighten out this world, we're going to destroy it, and that only the good people are going to remain. And it's actually thought that the reason that these people are coming from other universes is to warn us that we're going to destroy ourselves with all this atomic energy we have, and they're kind of worried about us. They're not here to harm us, they're here to warn us.
Wow, well, sometime in the future, Cheryl, we will actually be doing a show on UFOs and aliens, so perhaps we could have you back on then as a guest. Anyway, you've also featured in the film Rosalie and the up-and-coming Booth Brothers doc thriller, The Attached. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, Rosalie was actually, it's a fictional story about a woman, me, who was kind of messing around with black magic, and when I was pregnant, and I gave birth to the demon child, Rosalie. On the other hand, the Booth Brothers, The Attached, is true stories. They have gone around the United States to different locations, and they have invited people to come along and share their stories, that maybe a spirit followed them home sometime, or maybe they bought an object in an old antique store and it had an attachment to it, and they're actually telling the stories about what kind of attachments they had.
Well, Cheryl, I'd like to wish you all the best with your future endeavours, but we are running out of time, so we're going to have to say goodbye. So if you do have a website, please share that with us.
I do have a website. It's SherylLynnCarter.com. And usually I post upcoming events that I'm doing, and I'm going to start putting some evidence on there also.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Goodbye and take care.
What do you think about that then, Della? Bigfoot being sighted at Bachelor's Grove?
Yeah, well, apparently, according to legend, Bigfoot was classed as a protector of the Native American cemeteries and stuff, so that's probably why it might have been seen there, because it might be connected.
Could be. I thought maybe the Bigfoot might have been responsible for the vandalism there. But
no, they wouldn't do.
Yeah,
no,
that's what Cheryl said.
They wouldn't do it like that. There is legends and laws that Bigfoot and Dogmen are actually guardians of cemeteries, so that's probably why they've been seen there.
Okay.
We'd like to introduce David Childers to the show.
Now, Della, before we bring him on, I have to let you know, and the listeners at home and our PA radio fans, that this is a treat, because we have got David Childers live via video link. He's in his hometown, Mississippi, and he's at Freetown Cemetery. David Childers, can you hear us?
Yeah, absolutely, Al. What's going on, brother? All right, I'm out here at Freetown Cemetery, It's a lot of, history about this place. Every time I come out here, I get, great evidence. I take a lot of investigators that just trying, starting out to see how they would react to a place like this. And you can see the cemetery is totally engulfed in vegetation. Let me try to make my way over here to, oh, there we go. There's one tomb right there. Sorry, I'm out of breath, bro. But yeah, this place right here is amazing. It really is. Shadow people, disembodied voices, and you see the way the place is. We're going to have to come out here and clean it up. Definitely. Let's go over here to a little bit more active place. This right here is going to the family plot. The only one out here, actually. And it definitely does have a lot of stuff going on there. Sorry about, being out of breath, but we had to walk up a hill and everything. I'm not as young as I used to be, Al. Alright, here we go. Here's another tombstone. And you also see, a lot of the graves sunken up. They're unmarked graves. So there is no telling how many are out here. This pine tree right here is where, actually, I saw the little girl ghost that used to follow me at my place, hang around my place, and this is where she really made herself known a few times, about 4 or 5 different people. Right across the street over there, you can't see it, but right across the street is where the accident happened, where she was, tragically killed. Here we go. Here's the old grave right here. Let's see. Let's go to the family plot. Oh, sorry about the bumpiness, guys. It's not even out here. All right, here we go. This family plot, Freetown Cemetery, Vicksburg, Mississippi. It really needs some, 10 or 11 care. Oh, let's go see Hazard. Hazard is like one of the superstars out here. He's the one that actually communicates with us about any kind of happenings out here at Freetown Road. And see, Freetown Road, back in the day, right after the Civil War, the Mississippi gave it to the slaves. They gave all this property to the slaves, Freetown Road. That's why they call it Freetown Road, because of free slaves. Well, on the other side of the road, the only way to get down here back and forth is through it was a dirt road. And they had a guy out there, they called him Ox, which he had an ox in a trailer to actually pull people out of mud. It's, a pretty cool story. But this is Hazard right here. Hazard Morris, he is one of the real active spirits. There's so many out here that, you see shadow people, K2 goes off, EVP, disembodied voices all the time. It's a cool place, man. It's definitely a cool place. So, anyway, back to you, Al.
Now, David has brought 2 EVPs to the show for us to listen to. Before I do play them, just give us a little bit of a introduction, David, to the first EVP.
Man, yeah, Alex, it was crazy. We were out there. It was me and another member of the team. And we were just walking around look over, and there's a bag just sitting off in the woods. And it looked like it had something in it, And she looked at me and she was like, "What's in the bag?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not looking." And next thing you know, the EVP of a little girl, it was so sad, bro. It said, it's me. I'm in the bag. I just don't even know how to explain it. Of course, we went over there. We looked at the bag and opened it up. It was nothing but, old clothes and stuff. But it was very intense, man. Whenever I got back to the house and listened to that audio, it really made me tear up, man. Because there's no telling what happened at that cemetery over the years.
Right, okay. Well, let's play it and have a listen.
A what? A what?
A garbage bag?
Yeah.
Anything in it?
I don't know. I ain't looking.
Yeah, I can hear something there just after you laugh. like a little girl's voice. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to replay that section again after you laugh. I'm going to turn the volume up. Let's have a listen again. Yeah, I can definitely hear a little girl talking, but I can't really work out what she's saying. It does sound like she's saying I'm in, but I don't know whether that last word is bag, but that's my opinion. Anyway, David, let's move on to the second EVP. Tell us about this one.
The thing is with this EVP, it was whenever we were leaving the cemetery, I got back to the house and I listened to it, man. Just like the other EVP, I just teared up. I was like, oh, man. Because it was me and two of the females there. Obviously, the spirit, the little girl that was there, related to one of the females that were there with us, because they were asking questions. Hey, do you miss your family, your mom? Do you miss, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, it just went on extensive throughout the 5-6 hours investigation there. And I don't know if it's the same little girl or not. This little girl sounds a lot older.
Right, okay. Well, let's have a listen.
Daddy, don't go.
Bloody hell. Sorry. That has got to be one of the best EVPs I've ever heard. Wow. Whew. Let's have a listen again.
Daddy, don't go.
David, that is well creepy. Sends chills down the back of my neck. Wow.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that second one's one of my favorite ones. It's just so loud, man. Crisp, clear. It's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
Well, David, thank you ever so much for coming on to PA Radio, doing a little bit of a live video broadcast there from the cemetery, and also sharing them EVPs. You never fail us, and thank you ever so much.
All right, guys. I really appreciate the time. Let me come back on the show again. Always a blast, chatting about the paranormal with y'all, and y'all have a good one.
Thank you, David, and we hope to see you again soon.
Hello everyone, Kevin Graham from PA Radio with some tips to help you stay safe on your next paranormal adventure. Number 1, when you're exploring alone, let people know where you are and when you'll be returning. Number 2, carry a good first aid kit. Number 3, carry along extra water and snacks. Number 4, make sure to carry spare batteries and chargers for your equipment. Number 5, always get the landowner's permission when going on location. Remember, all land is posted unless there's a public access sign. Once again, from Paranormal Addiction Radio, this is Kevin Graham reminding you, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a show. And remember, stay safe, stay alert, and as always, y'all have fun.
I'd like to welcome to the show now
Tommy Hamilton.
Thank you, Della. Hi, Tommy. How you doing?
Everything's going good, man. Just enjoying my morning with a cup of coffee. Thanks for asking. How's everything with you guys? And thank you for having me on the show. It really means a lot.
No. Thank you for agreeing to come on as our guest. Anyway, Tommy, please just give a little introduction to yourself so the people at home know who they're listening to.
Hi, everybody. My name's Tommy Hamilton. I have a YouTube channel named Hamilton's Haunted Explorations. Also a Facebook group called the Paranormal Truth Seekers. I've basically been kind of falling into this the last couple years, but really heavy in the last year. I've always been into the paranormal because I had my share fair of experiences growing up as a child. You try to knock stuff off as a kid, or you try to tell your parents, but they don't believe you, type things. But I'm pretty sure I've experienced a lot of stuff when I was a kid, and it wasn't make-believe. I am from Lockport, New York. Basically not even 20 minutes from Niagara Falls, New York. Ontario area, next right across the bridge is Ontario, Canada. Yeah, man, just a small town. I'm shining a little light on our city, which is pretty good, and it actually feels good to walk around and have people like, hey, what's up, man? You're doing that haunted exploration stuff? Yeah. It feels good to get recognized, trying to get more historical facts also with my city.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more there when you mention about historical facts, because when you actually go to a location to carry out a paranormal investigation, you get to learn about these places. You get to know a little bit of history about the location that you're investigating. Over here especially, the architecture of some of these buildings that we go into. I mean, it's amazing. So yeah, I'm completely agree with you there. It's educational.
Yeah, man, and history is important. I mean, without history, we'd kind of be lost as a human race. And there's a lot of paranormal investigators out there that don't bring in the history of the place that they might be doing, and it's actually an awesome thing, a unique thing. If you could find the history of that place you're doing and bring a little bit more light to that city or whatever location you might be. There's a lot of places out here, abandoned, forgot about places, even cemeteries, that people have lost the history from it, or you can't even find it anymore, and it's kind of bad, and if you ever do a paranormal investigation, deep dive, try to find out, research it. It intrigues people to find out the history of places, forgotten places.
And you mentioned there cemeteries, Tommy, and as you know, this show is about haunted cemeteries. Now, I will say to the listeners now, if you're listening to the show via YouTube, now is the time to look at your screens, because we've got some evidence that Tommy has brought to the show that we're going to share. Tommy, before I play this first clip, just give us a little bit of an introduction to it.
Oh yeah, this was one of the second investigations I did here in my hometown when I got permission to actually film there overnight. I was accompanied by two of my friends. They're about, I want to say, 15, maybe 20 feet in front of me. They were looking at the gate and another headstone that was on the sidewalk, the roadway path. But yeah, as I'm walking, and I'm sorry for the lighting, I'm still working on getting better lighting for overnight videos. But as I'm walking, in real time, I didn't hear the first little baby, like, hey, like it was so minute. And then, like, it wanted to get my attention. It said, hey, even louder. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I turned around, I was freaked out. All my hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. I was kind of lost for words, as you guys can tell. And yeah, man, it's a definitely unsettling feeling.
So this was an EVP caught when you were using your video camera. So let's get it up on the screen and let's have a listen. Let's see if we can hear what you're talking about.
I gotta record. It sounded like somebody just came up and said hey to me. I hope my thing caught that.
Wow, well I certainly heard both heys there, very clear. And what's interesting is your response afterwards, because you actually heard this whilst carrying out the investigation, which in my opinion is quite rare, because with an EVP you don't really get to hear anything until you go back and analyse the evidence afterwards. So brilliant. Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, man, I kind of got all mumbled up in words. It freaked me out, man. It would freak anybody out. You're in a dark location, you're in a cemetery, nonetheless, and you have like very low lighting. Even though like in real time the lighting was good for me, like I could see, but like as far as visuals for my camera, like I said, I'm still working on getting a good LED screen light. But yeah, man, it is definitely eerie feeling.
Right, Tommy, I'm going to play the next clip now, but before I do, it's a daylight investigation that you were carrying out, so just give us a little bit of an introduction to this one.
All right, so basically this spot, I've actually caught what I think is an intelligent spirit. Previously in my other videos, I've sat in here in this spot. This is where I heard the hey at, basically, just a little bit down a ways. And then I also came here on my other video it's a little bit longer one, and I asked the spirit if it wanted to communicate. It also told me no. Now, I tried to see in this spot again, since it was active, since I was getting responses back, if any other spirits wanted to try to communicate with me. And at the time, I'm very deep into the cemetery. I'm not even near a roadway, a park, anything like that. Nobody was in the cemetery with me at this time. Basically, what happened is I asked this question, and you can hear a faint scream off in the distance. Afterwards, I'm panning the camera around, and I go to pan back towards the same area. You can even hear me say I think it might have been an owl, but we really don't have daytime owls here in New York like that. So after that, you hear this weeping, like a woman crying or somebody crying. And I say, that's definitely not an owl.
Well, let's get it up onto the screen and let's have a listen.
Can you please possibly tell me your name and speak into my camera? I think that was an owl. That's weird. That doesn't sound like an owl.
Well, yeah, you can definitely hear something there. I mean, whether it is paranormal or maybe it was an owl, don't know. But that whimpering, that crying at the end, that was quite chilling. Anyway, I'm going to play the last clip that you sent us.
Your time, if you try to communicate with me, I have one more question for you. Or a favor. Can you possibly knock again, like you did before for me? Was that you? Can you knock again one more time, please? Pretty sure I just caught some knocking. Definitely heard that.
Now, I especially like this because it proves once again that you don't always need to do a paranormal investigation in the dark. You can carry them out in the daylight, So, yeah, that was an obvious knock. I could hear that knocking after, and you had your hand up to say, basically to show us that it's not you doing the knocking. Now, was there anybody else with you?
No, I was by myself during the day here. Nobody was in that cemetery. I even prior to, if you guys want the link to the video, I walk around that monastery just in case somebody, might have been out there or paying respects to somebody around there. But I did a whole 360 of the place before I went inside. And the reason I put my hand up, because like I said, I do have another video. It's about 57 minutes long. I tried to go back there during the day, and I heard a knock. When I asked, basically I said, what do you have to say to the people that don't believe into the paranormal on the other video? And you hear this knock, but at the time I was walking away from that podium that I knocked on, and I thought it might have been my bag swaying and hit it. And a lot of people in the comments were saying, hey, you might have, hit it, you might have knocked. So I tried to go back and debunk it, and this is what I caught. Now, like I said, I have my hand up, and you can definitely hear the 3 consecutive knocks. And at the time when I was like, you see my eyes lighten up because I heard the knocks, it felt like I asked it again if you can knock one more time for me. And at that time, it felt like on the left-hand side of me, something came up to my ear and whispered faintly and walked around me. And then you hear a knock come from the other side of the room. And yeah, man, something definitely wanted to let itself be known. And like I said, I am very respectful when I come into these places. I don't try to screen people's names. And I even let the spirits know, I don't mean any disrespect. I don't come here in any harm. I just, want to seek the truth. And if you have a message to pass on, that would be awesome.
So that was a question I was actually going to ask you. So when you go to a cemetery to do an investigation, you don't actually go up to a grave, read out the name of the person whose gravestone it is to see if you can get a reaction then. You basically just go into the cemetery and just ask questions out aloud and see if you get a response that way. Then you don't try and pinpoint an exact spirit, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't really try to screen people's names. I mean, when I come into an encounter, if a spirit wants its name to be known, say that I go on an investigation and basically I speak and something responds back like, hey, my name's Amy, something like that. And I pick it up on when I do the reviewing of the tape, I would go back and most likely look for an Amy or look for, that name that I got heard. And yeah, I would, at that time, I would screen their name just for the simple fact and respect out of that spirit that it wanted itself to be known for a reason. So at that time, I would ask questions to that indirect spirit, One of
the reasons why I chose to do a show on haunted cemeteries this week was because, come on, think about it. Cemeteries, yeah? With no disrespect, they're full of dead people, and I mean that in a nice way. So the paranormal investigator it's going to be a hot spot for them, isn't it? They're going to be drawn into it. Now, do you think I'm right in saying that it is an attraction for the paranormal investigator, the ghost hunter, to try and get something? If they're going to get anything, cemetery is the place to go.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Cemeteries are definitely a hot spot. Like I said, there's probably a lot of souls within cemeteries that probably didn't want to die, lost their life somehow, some way, even forgotten about, that might not be able to let their soul rest at ease. So everybody that is listening, just make sure that you are respectful. If you ever want to go on a future endeavor investigation, just be respectful, man. Tread lightly, try to not walk and step on people's graves. Clear some, if you see a little grub on the thing, you can't really see the name on certain headstones. Make sure you clean it up. Try to make it look nice.
Now, Tommy, when you're carrying out an investigation, many paranormal investigators carry out some sort of spiritual protection to protect themselves from the unknown. They'll say a prayer before they start and maybe after the investigation. Now, do you carry out maybe a similar process?
As far as protection goes, there's only one thing that I do carry with me on my investigations. I actually went to this it's like a herbal magic shop, and basically was looking for salts of protection, just salts that I could actually throw if I feel anything negative near me trying to harm me in any way, shape, or form. And basically what these salts do, or said to do, are to drain the negative energy of their energy, basically, so they can't manifest, they can't harm you, they can't anything. And that's the only thing that I've carried with me. I haven't really used them. I've used them one time at Cold Springs, and that's about it. But as far as me saying a prayer, I'm open to all religions, and I don't want to pick one God as mine because at the same time, we don't know what's waiting on the other side. I'm not atheist, but I do believe there is a higher power. I just don't want to pick one God in one religion, and then when that time does come, that God to be saying, hey, that's the wrong God you've been worshiping. Why didn't you pick me? And in all the biblical texts that, I've read over the years, all of the gods mainly are, all forgiven. So at that time, if he has understanding, he will understand why I wouldn't pick that one religion, that one God to worship. But I also, I believe in the higher power. I do send prayers out to any higher power, spirit, anything that is watching over me and protecting me. Even at the beginning of my videos, I usually say, if there's any spirits here trying to communicate with me, I mean you no harm in any way, shape, or form. I come in a peaceful manner. I just seeking if you want to try to communicate with me. This device I have in my hand picks up video and audio. And even at the end of my videos, usually even on video or when I close out, I let the spirits know, thank you for your time. Thank you for trying to communicate with me. I will be trying to review the tape, and hopefully I picked up something. But at this time, I don't want any more communication with me. I do not give you permission to follow me home or attach yourself to me. And you have to be strong and dominant with that. You just be respectful. That's the main key thing, man. Be respectful. Because even if it is a negative energy or bad and good energy, and you are being disrespectful, vandalizing, if I was a spirit and I seen that, I'd probably attach myself to you too.
Now, Tommy, this is quite a passion of yours, isn't it? I mean, do you do this as a full-time job, or is it just a hobby?
Yes, I have a passion, and I hope things come of it. I hope that, things and doors start opening up for me in my little, haunted explorations. Even if it isn't haunted, like I said, I love bringing historical sites. I love doing interviews with people that have property that's been abandoned or forgot about, and just love shooting interviews and learning more. Everybody on this earth has a different story, and it's awesome to actually learn backstory from older folks. It is a full-time / part-time thing. It's not, it's more of a hobby, like you said. And I love doing it, man. It keeps me busy. My town is pretty small, so there's not like much you can do. And for me to do something like this, I am literally the original father, basically, to start something new like this in my city, in my town. And like I said, I love bringing the light to my city, man. It really means a lot, and it really feels good when you can walk around and there's people that recognize you for your work. So to all the paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, paranormal truth seekers out there, if you ever want to start doing something like this, man, just, be respectful, and, just give it your all, man. Don't be afraid to mess up. I mean, there's a lot of times that I have messed up on video, and even made fun of myself with commentary, leaving captions, text, or whatever. You just got to have fun with it, but also make sure that you're being respectful and protected. Just 1 foot at a time. That's all you can do.
Tommy, have you ever had a call where someone's phoned you and said, we've got this unbearable haunting here, I want to get rid of it, can you please come and help?
If there's ever someone out there that needs help and hits me up, messaging me, asking me to do an investigation of their house, they think their house is haunted, they might need help, it's harming them, I would be hands down to go headfirst inside of a house by myself. Just for the simple fact, I don't like bullies, basically, and negative energies or bad spirits that try to haunt and torment the living that we might not understand yet is a bully. It's a form of being a bully, and I don't like that, man. So at that time, I would go inside of a house headstrong, spirit strong, guard up, and let this self be known that, you're not welcome here, you're not allowed here. And either two things are going to happen. Either the spirit is going to leave. It's not going to want this presence around them. It doesn't want to, have this battle. Or things might get worse. Now, I've actually been hit up before slightly saying that something was basically attached to somebody. And to all the people out there, if you ever have a haunting, a residual haunting inside your house that is negative and you don't want this presence to be there, I've learned some things on the way. It has to be yourself. Now, obviously, this negative energy or spirit wants your attention. It's only trying to cause harm towards you. And if you own this house, if you are the owner of this house, you have to make that strong urge and show that you're not as scared and you do not want it here. You have to let it be known that I don't want you here. You're not welcome here. Leave my house, And there's other, things and routines to actually do to cleanse the house.
Now, Tommy, I know we've already mentioned it in our discussions. You have a YouTube channel, and this is where you use it to document all of your investigations to share with us. So just give us a little bit more of a recap on that.
Yeah, man. If you guys like people that do haunted explorations, trying to seek the truth of the paranormal, come by and check out my channel sometime. It's called Hamilton's Haunted Explorations on YouTube. Like I said, I started something new in my city, and everybody's liking it. I'm almost at 1K, guys. Almost there. That's a goal of mine, and basically it opens up a little bit more things on YouTube. Like I'll be able to post like certain statuses and even make a short video, kind of like an Instagram / Facebook thing. Also, I'll be able to basically do live streams from my phone, because you can with YouTube, you can do live videos from your phone or do a live chat from your laptop. You could do live stuff, but you need 1,000 people to actually be able to unlock and stream from your phone. I also have a paranormal group on Facebook that I made called the Paranormal Truth Seekers. We're about 258 strong. But with a little help, I don't know, it's been growing pretty rapidly, and I'm thankful. I'm counting all my blessings, and I'm thankful there's a lot of people out here that like this and supporting me throughout the journey. Now, to all the people out there that do investigations, there is a lot of mockery, there is a lot of hate on us, but at the same time, guys, I want y'all to know something. If you are doing something to piss off a hater or somebody that doesn't like it, that's always trying to put you down, smile and laugh, baby, because you're doing something right. If you get the attention of some haters on you, obviously they're watching your content, obviously they're trying to watch every little detail, and you just say thank you, because obviously they're helping you out. Just smile and wave. That's all you can do, because if they're watching your content, obviously you're doing something right. If they're trying to criticize you on every last detail, they're watching your content still. They don't get that. Sometimes, the trolls or haters, they don't understand that. So it's kind of in the form of helping us out, helping us grow.
Very wise words there, Tommy. Well said. Anyway, Tommy, unfortunately, we've come to an end. We've run out of time, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for sharing your evidence with us and your experiences.
Thank you for having me on the show, Alex. You are awesome, and I'm so honored, like I said from the beginning. If you guys are interested and want to follow me on my journeys, like he said, my name is Tommy Hamilton, and I have a YouTube called Hamilton's Haunted Explorations. Also a paranormal group on Facebook. If you guys have Facebook, go ahead and pop in there and show some love. It's called the Paranormal Truth Seekers. I am the admin and owner of that page. So come on and check it out. Alex, man, thanks again, man, for showing love, support, and having me on here. It really means a lot.
And we hope to have you back on the show again sometime. So thank you very much, Tommy, and goodbye. Now on the show, all the cemeteries we've spoken of have been located in America. Now over here in England, we've got the Highgate Cemetery located in London. Now it's known for famous people being buried there. The likes of Karl Marx, George Eliot, and recently George Michael, the pop star. There are approximately 170,000 people buried in around 53,000 graves across the West Cemetery and the East Cemetery. Many common folk were buried there too, and they're in unmarked graves, which means no matter where you step, it's likely lots of souls rest below your feet. Rumours of occult meetings, witches and Satanists gathering in the cemetery have persisted for years. However, in the 1970s and as recently as 2013, there have been reports of a Victorian-dressed man floating in the park. Now it's said he is the vampire looking for prey. So I just thought I'd share that haunted cemetery over here in the UK. Well, once again, what an amazing show, Della.
Yep.
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 Yeah.
Yep. Yep. No, it was actually. Thank you, everybody that came on tonight. It was much appreciated. And
well, Kevin Graham did an amazing job once again. Always never lets us down, does he? Always does a good job.
No, I think he enjoys it, does Kevin?
He does.
He does. Deep down, I know Kevin enjoys it. So it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
See you next time on PA Radio.
And a big thank you to our guests, Cheryl Lynn Carter. Remember, check out her new book, Dimensions, Mysterious Triangles of the US, available soon on Amazon.com. A big thank you to David Childers for once again coming on to Paranormal Addiction Radio. And also Tommy Hamilton. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Remember, guys, check out his YouTube channel. Until next time, stay focused, stay alert, but most importantly, stay safe. Cheerio!